G'day, this is E.T. here, coming from somewhere in the world, in the middle of nowhere. What are the Greens? How are they misleading you? Why are they so dishonest? How many Greens, say in Australia or America or the UK, know where China is? Do they not know that China has got 1.3 billion people? Many of them live where it's minus 20 degrees in winter, and the only way to create the heat they need to keep warm is through burning coal. The fact is, there is no alternative at this stage in time that the Greens can agree with. The alternative is nuclear fuel, but they're totally against nuclear fuel. Wind and solar cannot warm much up at all on a regular basis. Therefore, the Greens do not like the Chinese. This is what one comes to the conclusion about. The Greens do not like Chinese or Indian people making any headway in having the elite sort of life that the Greens enjoy. Remember, the Greens in Australia in particular, and I can't speak altogether for America or Britain or Germany, are not in your productive enterprises. They're in your schools, universities, governments, bureaucracies and such things, which basically sponge off the back of the worker, and then they say they are socialists. No, they're not socialists. Socialism is a word they use to hoodwink those at school who have no idea what industrialised capitalisation was of the 19th century. They cannot relate to that sort of industrial workforce where people lived a terrible life at the hands of industrial capitalists. The point is, in the last 30 years or so or more, what the Greens and the left have done is work by degenerating the ability of the people in the schools and education through that means which they have taken over to ask questions of politics or to investigate into history in a way that is scientific and allows them to make up their own mind as individuals about the geographical structure and nature of human society and the differential nature of it in China, India, Russia or wherever it is. We're on a different level of material wealth that the green left enjoy. This elite force telling you everyone's suffering only want total control over people to get more control over the capital and therefore the material, and they don't give a damn if the people in China freeze to death in winter. Therefore all the thing about racism is just a scam, a front, smoke and mirrors. That's all it is. That's all the green left are, a dangerous force into children who know no better, are put in the hands of these people by their parents in classes, and the parents will work hard all their life whilst the left to help their children gain better lives, whilst the left work against their parents by devaluing education so the children cannot compete as well in the world as they would normally. Evolution has two mediums. It's negative or positive. In the practical way, you act positively and pragmatically and adapt to the situation naturally. The Greens are acting negatively by trying to force through political correctness the poison chalice of politics and society to people to become collectives for no other purpose but to control them so they cannot compete or dare not compete amongst each other. So these Greens who want to save the planet, the climate and all that totally ignore the simple maths involved in the ratio difference between Australia, for instance, and China. 23 million people in Australia living an elite sort of life. 101.3 billion people in China, many of them, 600 million, live in high abject poverty compared with most people in the West, and the Greens want to deny these people the means to keep warm in winter, and the Greens say they're not the racists. Well, I say the evidence is against them. The Greens are the racists. And that's the joke on the Greens. You can con some of the people some of the time, and you can mock those who you can't con, but you cannot hide from the fact the truth is catching up with them. Thank you. This is E.T. Do not support the left anymore. You're working against your children. Your children's future is up to them being independent, being able to compete in the world and having a brain, cognitive ability to question anything and everything as they like. That is the human right. That is the basic human right, and Greens and the left are working fundamentally against the most basic tenets and principles of human rights that exists. That right for individual cultural character, what allows the individual to go on and explore the mind and the world and the environment and change it or adapt within it as they see fit, not as some politician or some elite person or elite force says they must. The Greens are anti-human rights, against diversity, and so full of shit, it's not funny. Well, it is funny actually, once you see what they really are. They're a bloody joke. Thank you. This is E.T. reporting from the middle of nowhere to the world. Thank you.